Hello, Flosstube. A long time. I know, it's been a while. I did not mean to upload one video and then literally disappear. Was not on the list of things to do. And it happened, and I'm sorry, and I'm hoping I can get back to making this a regular thing. Life just kind of exploded around me and made it really hard to do anything. So, this is the very long overdue StitchCon. I will show what I got there. I'm not going to talk very much about my experiences because, well, everybody has already talked about StitchCon to this point, so I'll talk about what I did work on, what I didn't work on, and show you some of the stuff that I got, as well as tell you what's currently in the work in progress train, what I'm currently trying to work on, and probably go from there. So, where should I start? I picked this one back up again. This was supposed to be my StitchCon finish. It was not my StitchCon finish. At some point in the late night stitching room, I just started going straight across. Stopped counting. Is what it is. Some of these things I got from the annex, some of these things I got from Keepsakes itself, and 3 of these things were the blind date with a pattern surprise me kit. I got these cute little scissors to come back with me because I figured they would anger TSA a lot less than the scissors that I had previously had, and because I knew that my main luggage that I flew with originally was going to wind up being checked because I needed to bring home this bag and my tote bag that I was using as a purse that also had a ton of cross-stitch stuff in it too. So I wound up checking my bag full of clothes. Alright. And there's a good chance, a very good chance, that some of the stuff from StitchCon has already wandered off. So, you're going to get what's in this bag, and we're going to go from there. So this is my StitchCon finish. I bought it at StitchCon, and then I bought the pattern first, and then I was like, ooh, this should stitch up pretty quick. And so I went in and got the fabric, because I'd already picked up some really pretty variegated red floss. Actually, no, this was just a really pretty hand-dyed floss. It wasn't even variegated. But I did this for my partner. I finished it on the plane, which is why I'm calling it my StitchCon finish. Did I ring a bell? No. But I did complete it before I came home. So, I believe the fabric is Fortnite Fabrics, and I'll be darned if I can remember what the name of this floss was. We got a pretty notebook. These were some StitchCon freebies. This I got from a new dyer who sent a bunch of fabric out for free. This is from Wonderland Fabrics. The shade is Nonsense, and there is a code that I will find and put in the description so that you can get a free Fat 8. So I picked up this one. I think it was a freebie. It says, welcome, please wipe hooves, paws, and feet. I have about 3 zookeepers in my life that would all pretty much adore that. So, I picked up Halloween thread keep, and I think that's a scissor fob, or it's a charm that goes on the ring for the thread keep, and it is all spooky. I got Nordic reindeer. This was on the freebie table. I have a really fond memory of Nutcracker and my mother so I had to get that. I got this one. Then of course I got this one, because most of the people in my group are misfits. This is our passport, and it has a little pattern in here. Maybe next year I'll actually be in the list of Flosstubers. What is this? Black Hat Stitchery, thread drops. Everybody was kind of handing out thread drops. I have more thread drops than I can count, and half of them have gone into the basket of no return, which means I'll find them when I'm meant to find them and not a minute before. So, and then we got this one, and it says, what lies behind us and what lies before us are small matters compared to what lies within us. And I think that's a little dragonfly. I'm probably going to extend his butt a little bit so that you can really tell that he's a dragonfly, because the wings are dragonfly-ish. Me and the Cross Stitch chat crew completely cleaned them out of this. They had to go restock it. There were 3 of them left. We cleaned them out. This was also from the freebie table, and I know that I have a few zookeepers that are going to love this. I got to figure out how I'm going to put it on the Afghan, because the Afghans that I've found have too many squares, and I'm confused. So, this was too adorable to pass up, and it comes with pretty much everything I need. This I know I bought at Keepsakes. It says the beatings will continue until morale improves. And they also have things like why work when you can pillage and plunder. And what I really like is that on this one it has this cute little silver pirate charm. And let me flip this out. Would you please behave? For the love of God. You actually get the little pirate charm to stitch on there. So, and this is a Sue Hillis design. I believe this is my first Sue Hillis design. But she had a lot of designs there that looked really, really cool. This is the one I did for my partner. And Le Fantôme. Boo. I kind of bought them out on spooky stuff. This was a freebie that was given to us. Looks really pretty. This is from my project bag, which got buried over here. Really got to start using it again. Make sure there's nothing inside it. Oh, there is. Hold on. Please hold. Okay. So, I have no idea what this thread was called. But this is the thread that I used to stitch the Amour. And this is the project bag. It's got skulls, and it's loud, and it's so totally me. And I don't have one that's this, like, size and shape. 80%, 90%, 90% of my project bags look like this. By the way, I took this to StitchCon, didn't stitch on it. Maybe opened it up once to show people what was inside it. And when I opened it last night to try and stitch on it a little bit, there were cookie crumbs in there, and I'm still trying to figure out how that happened, but no idea. Oh, that's going to be a fun one. Oh, buddy. I have completely lost one of my projects. Oh, no, there it is. Okay. I think organizing the nest maybe in the cards for me later today. Sit. So this was my StitchCon start. The fabric is by Be Stitch Me. That is how much I got done at StitchCon. It is 20 count fabric. The model was stitched on 40 count linen. And I decided to go with 20 count fabric to save what's left of my eyesight. And that is what it will eventually look like. And while I could care less about the alphabet, it's got all the cute critters on it, and therefore it gets to stay. The quote reads, "Though my soul may set in darkness, it will rise in perfect light. I have loved the stars too fondly to be fearful of the night," which is pretty much one of my favorite quotes of all time. That is on the level of I would potentially get that tattooed on me. That is how much I adore that quote. I had it on a smaller hoop and it would zip up. Now that I've got it on a slightly bigger hoop, it will not zip up. We may go back to a smaller hoop. Not sure yet. That was my StitchCon start. Alright, let's kind of go backwards here. We went to the Butterfly Conservatory. No, the Butterfly exhibit at the Chrome Conservatory. And this was one of the things I got because it was a gorgeous print. And I had every intention of putting it up on my cube. However, when I got back from StitchCon, I got COVID, and then promptly after getting COVID, I got fired. My temp company called and said that they no longer needed me, and I've been fighting to get unemployment ever since. It's been about a month, and yeah. That's why I have not been on here. I have not quite had all of the spoons that I needed to do the things. I got this one, which is called Cinders, and one of the gals at our table, because we had an all cross-stitch chat table, we had an all cross-stitch chat table, and she had brought a pattern that was like a little basket of flowers. It was called Flowers of Friendship, and the concept was that everybody would like stitch a flower, and you could either follow the pattern or you could just stitch your own thing. So like Vanessa stitched a butterfly, and I forget what Ash stitched, but I was trying to stitch one of the flowers, managed to screw it up somehow and turned it into a heart. Clearly accounting was not going well for me. I also picked up this one, which is Halloween in the Round. I plan on doing it in this, which is Burnt Orange from the Gentle Arts. And I'm pretty sure that I'm going to do it on this fabric. That's only showing it on 30 linen. This is 18 count Ada. We'll see what happens. Let's see. I think everything left is the Surprise Me kits. Okay. I got another of the burnt orange threads for when I do that pattern again. My name badge. I wrote in my pronouns, and I'm hoping next year that they have a spot for us to put our pronouns in our sign up so that it gets printed and nobody has to read my crappy handwriting. I apologize that I'm playing with my hair. It's that or it's put it up, unfortunately. I'm not used to having hair at this length. I just recently got it chopped off. My hair was down to about, yeah, definitely there. My hair was down to probably about here, and I just got a whole bunch of it chopped off because we were doing split ends and stuff, and getting out the most damaged part of the dies, because I'm probably going to lighten the whole hair and then do it in various shades of green, because I'm on a green kick right now. Will it fade after I put green in my hair? Absolutely. And then we'll figure out what to do with it then. So I got the Surprise Me kits. You basically just put things that you're interested in, things you don't want, and they come back with stuff. I gave them a budget and they came back with it. So this is the leftover fabric out of one of the kits, maybe two of the kits, I can't remember. But my friend Vanessa has a proper cutting mat and a serger, so she cut all the fabric for the projects to the correct size, serged them, and then serged my leftovers. And this was another piece of fabric, and she has again serged all of the edges, even this little weird guy over here. I have no idea what I'm going to do with the rest of this fabric. I am sure I will figure out something. The name of this one is Tombstone by Atomic Ranch, and this one is Grandpa's Sleeve by X Jude, I guess. And both of those are Ada, because that's what I primarily stitch on. This is what's left of the 4-dye fabrics that I got for the Amore kit for my partner. And after Nessa watched me just chop that with some standard, like, I wasn't even using these because I didn't pack these. In fact, I'm almost 110% positive that I just chopped it straight up the middle with this, as Nessa watched in horror. So I'm pretty sure that's why I got my stuff cut and serged, because she's like, I'm not going to watch you butcher more fabric. So, Surprise Me kit number 1 is the Prairie Schooler, and it is to be done with the Grandpa's Sleeves, and they put all the floss in there for me that I need. So that is the Prairie Schooler. This is Stacy Nash Primitives Haunted Stitches Needlebook. I have never had a needlebook. I don't know how to assemble a needlebook, but you bet your sweet baby I'm going to figure out how, because that is too amazing. That is just amazing. That is also going to be done on Grandpa's Sleeves with the Weeks Dye Works floss. And last but not least, we have Crow's Corner. And the orange in the Crow's Corner down here in the bottom is going to be subbed out for this glorious purple, which will really pop on that Atomic Ranch fabric. I don't typically stitch primitive stuff like this. Like, I'm not typically a sampler stitcher or a Quaker stitcher of any shape, form, or fashion. I'm absolutely not. I'm not saying that I'm against it. I'm just saying that's not typically the stuff that I stitch. I'm stitching Palmistry by the Witchy Stitcher. I'm stitching the Cryptid Sal, sorta kinda. I'm stitching the Dune Bookshelf by Taylor and Cromwell. I've got 2 printed that I'm stitching, that I'm working on, that I'll drag out here in a second, because they are currently one more than the other, but they are currently in the waffling through my whips just to keep any kind of serotonin rolling. But I did enjoy my time at StitchCon. Like I said, I went with a bunch of the peeps from the Cross Stitch Discord server. They are all amazing people, and there were so many hugs, and it was just a great time had by all. I have to figure out how to finish this one. I left my piece that had My Story Isn't Finished, that was on that lovely, lovely bright green fabric. With keepsakes for their finishing magic. I'm like, I don't know how to finish stuff, so you quote me a price and I'll just pay you to do your magic. So one of the main projects in rotation right now, because it does not require a lot of counting, is my wolf print, and I'm also hoping desperately to get this done by Christmas, because I would really like to give it as a Christmas gift. And so I've got this really, this is the only other like handmade project bag that I have. But this is the one that I'm working on. It is for one of my 3 zookeepers. I speak that like they're mine actually, personally, but I'm just really good friends with all 3 of them. But that is my wolf pre-printed. And the other pre-printed that I am working on is this one. Right now I'm just doing 310 fill because can. That is eventually going to be a tiger. I don't know if you can really kind of tell, but that's going to be a tiger. It's big, but differently big than the other one. And I, of course, don't have it in a project bag, because why would I? The other one that I've pulled back in, this one is back in timeout. It was in timeout during StitchCon. I pulled it back out a couple weeks ago. And promptly put it back in timeout last night. So, there's that. This is the Star Wars May the 4th Be With You from Forbidden Fiber Co. My letters are just not looking quite the way I want them to. And it could be that I am stitching it on... What the fluff thread? What the fuck fabric is this? Sorry. 18 opalescent. I don't know if it's that I'm not used to 18 opalescent. I stitch on 14 and 16 just fine, so I'm not sure if it's a me thing or if it's a I'm just not paying enough attention thing. Could be both. This was one of the things that I got from the people in the Cross Stitch server. That is a rogue sticker. So that is the Cross Stitch chat logo. We also had needle minders made. And one of the gals that was there from the Cross Stitch server made me this because I told them that owls and like blue and purple were like my main colors. But so I have floss drops from the Cross Stitch server chat people, and these are all the stickers that I got. So we have the one that I just threw, so it's keepsakes. There's one still in the bag. I'm doing great with this. That's 310, the shop cat. He was not visible when we were there. It was probably a little too crazy for him. This was the Stitchy Bus. We did not ride the Stitchy Bus because we didn't feel like trying to fight with the timing of it. So we have a small square StitchCon sticker. We have a large StitchCon sticker. And we have the Keepsakes house. So this one is back in timeout. I pulled this one out of timeout because While I didn't stitch on it at StitchCon, Lord knows I need to stitch on it because this is, again, also supposed to be a Christmas present, and I would really like to get it done for my dad. So this is the Dune Bookshelf by Taylor and Cromwell. That is what it will eventually look like. I'm over in here somewhere because I've been stitching on the box and I've got this part of the book and I'm starting to work on this next book. I could probably go up on top and do that, or I could do some of the shelf down here. I don't know. I'm not going in any sane or particular order. I'm just kind of going wherever I go with this, but this one is currently in rotation, as in I worked on it yesterday. I worked on it yesterday for all of about 10 minutes before I got pissed off. So job hunting and stitching is pretty much what I'm doing most of the days. I'm hoping to be able to go and get my hair dyed green sometime soon. I do have new stuff coming. I did pre-order the Halloween box from Live and Die LA. I was very lucky to be able to get that one. I'm thinking about ordering the fabric and floss kit from Be Stitch Me, but I'm not sure. I missed out on Forbidden Fiber Co's. Halloween, it was going to be a Halloween countdown. I am mad about missing that. Very mad, like big mad. But yeah, the thing with palmistry was that I had to figure out how many stitches past I had gone. Because like I said, I stopped counting halfway through the night. The odds of me starting this sometime today is pretty strong, or at least before I film another stitch Flosstube video. It's pretty high. Because sometimes you just need a new start to make you feel better. I'm trying to think what else has been, like what else I have been doing. I do have a few patterns that I got digitally, and I have very thankfully found my Kindle again that does have Pattern Keeper on it. Yes, there is a way you can put Pattern Keeper, which is an Android-only app, on a Kindle. It is not easy, and I do not necessarily recommend it, but it is something that can be done. So I did that, and I have another Kindle, a newer Kindle, somewhere that also has Pattern Keeper on it, but that Kindle is currently missing, and my house will give it back exactly when it means to, and not a minute before. Like, there's supposed to be a thing up here that I got from the... Oh, there it is. So this was one of the other things that I got at the Crown Conservatory. I got this one, and I got one that is a hippopotamus for my partner, because my partner wanted StitchCon merch, and I'm like... So I told them, I'm like, you have to have merch next year. This is my, you know, spouse went to StitchCon, and all I got was a stupid t-shirt, hat, sticker, whatever. So before I found the hippopotamus necklace, I had picked up this, which is Spooky Cupcakes, for him. I also picked up that for myself because pirate owls. Let's see, what else did I pick up for myself? There's this one, which is a jackalope, which is my favorite cryptid, by the way. Short of the Loch Ness Monster. Loch Ness Monster and jackalopes are my two favorite cryptids. And it says, do not mistake kindness for weakness. Other than that, I've been reading. I've been reading a lot. Because, like, what else can I do with my time? I think that now is as good a time as any for a needleminder tour. So we're going to talk about my needleminder addiction problem. So this is one I got from StitchCon. This is also one I got from StitchCon. Then there's this one, the jackalope. This is what a friend's mom sent me. And she also sent me all of these buttons that she made into needle minders herself. And these are from either his grandmother or his great-grandmother's button box. And there is a purple one around here somewhere and or on one of my projects. Because she said that she just saw that purple button and she knew that that one was for me, and I'm not entirely sure where that one went, and I just lost one. So let's see if I can. So this one was sent to me by a friend. This one has my frogging pins on it right now, but it says believe in yourself, and it's the Loch Ness Monster. And then we have the cross stitch chat one. We have karaoke. We have a White Rabbit one from Alice in Wonderland. I think this was one of the first ones I ever bought. And this one, I guarantee you that does not belong there. And maybe it does. Who knows? This one I got from StitchCon when somebody was handing it out. Okay, now you're going to see that I have a whole lot. This one was also from StitchCon. Somebody was just handing them out. You're going to see a whole lot from, what is it, Needle Attractions by Kim Garrick. It's a Facebook group. This is Count Chocula. You're going to see a whole lot of those because I love her stuff dearly. Okay. So we have Blanche Devereaux. Here we are in the middle of a crisis, and there's no cheesecake. And then this is the intro to Outlander. I like the song much more than I actually like the show. Alright, what's this one? This one is... God, what does that say? Don't Quit Your Daydream. Maleficent is a dragon. And Tinkerbell, and I believe... Hold on, I'm trying to find my glasses. I literally just had them yesterday. There they are. Okay. These are my cross-stitching glasses. I don't know, something and wander. Arm I Always Lost. Yeah, that one makes no sense. But it's got Tinkerbell. And I love it. This one is from Magical Minders, also a Facebook group. That's a good Medusa. Then we have this one. Cannot remember where I got this one. It just says spells. Taylor and Chroma one. This one I actually got from somebody in the Cross Stitch Discord. I actually kind of won this one. That is Stanley. Excelsior. Stanley, stop being a jerk. I don't need that kind of bullshit right now. Thank you. Alright, then we've got my second binder, which was Baby Yoda with Soup and Fight for the Things You Care About, the notorious RBG. We love her. This is not a Taylor and Cromwell one. Okay, this is on top of Taylor and Cromwell one. I've probably lost the back to this one and it just sticks to the other one. So this is a gorgeous crystal lotus. I think this one was from the spooky box. Magical Minders. That one says science fiction double feature. That one says full moonshine were whiskey. It's a werewolf. The Pride from Taylor and Cromwell. I think this one was from the 420 box. This one was from the Hades Town box. This one was from the D&D box. That's a gelatinous cube. Well-behaved women rarely make history. This was from the Sixth Musical box, and it says Beheaded. I keep my two Pushins together because I love Pushin, and that is Sailor Moon Pushin and the Fourth Doctor Pushin. Fun fact, the Fourth Doctor was my mother's favorite of all time. Like, she loved Doctor Who completely, but for her, Tom Baker was the end-all and be-all. And to be fair, I can't really blame her. I'm not sitting here going, Mom, he wasn't really the best one. Mostly because I'm not dumb enough to say that to my mother and still live. And that one we'll just put over top of there again. And this one goes wherever I can find a home for it. Oh yeah, I've got this one down here too. Which is the Peanuts Heart, and then this is the three cats from Sailor Moon. That is Luna, Artemis, and Diana. And I think I have some more on the front of the table that I can't reach right now. Oh, I have these two too. And these are not the ones on my projects. These are just the extras that I have. I also have a few on the fridge. So I've got a Triple Moon, and then I've got the Hello from Labyrinth. I've got a gem one on my fridge. I've got a Jurassic Park one on my fridge. I've got a horror one, like a bunch of different horror movie posters on the fridge. That one's more for my partner than it is for me, because he loves fridge magnets, so I got him a fridge magnet. Needle minder, fridge magnet, all the same things as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, that is my, I have a needle minder problem. I've gotten to the point where I'm willing to accept that I have a needle minder problem. which I do believe is a great start. But yeah, I have minders on almost all my projects. So like this one has Witch Please. My Dune one has one of the 2 Dune minders that came with the Taylor and Chromo box. My Wolf printed has a second of the Werewolf Whiskey. That will eventually wind up going to the person who's getting the Wolf printed. That will go with it. Ow! My Star Wars one has 2 needle minders, and that one that came with the kit, and one that I got from Live and Die LA, because I saw it and I had to have it. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about that one. So that's the one that came with the kit, which is a really pretty pendant. So if I didn't want it to be a needle minder anymore, I could make it a pendant. And then this is the one that I got from Live and Die LA. And I believe I ordered it sometime in April, and I wound up getting it on May the 4th. Ars Robotica is still in timeout. I guess I have to frog it and start all over again, and that's just so not on my list of things to do right now. I need to... I was trying to find... the reason I don't have to buy 310 anymore. And that's because I have a mini Cone of Doom. Cone of Doom is the cryptid, the made cryptid for the Witchy Stitcher cryptid Sal, which I have the beginnings of started. I have started the frame, and that's exactly as far as I have gotten with that. But yeah, so that's the work in progress roundup, things that I've bought. I have no finishes. Well, I had one finish. And then the other finish that I had, I left with keepsakes so that they can actually do some finishing for it. I'm like, you figure out what you think would be the best way to finish this, and I will just send you money. Because there are things that I know I am good at, and that's not it. That's not it. Oh, there's the Cone of Doom. So this is my mini Cone of Doom. I got this when I was working on the Cryptid Sal because you needed a lot of 310 for the Cryptid Sal, and subsequently for the Supernatural Sal. I guarantee you're going to need a ton of 310. So I just said, screw it, waited until Joann's was having a sale and got a Conette. Is technically what that's called. The next thing I'm going to talk about is things that make my life easier while I'm stitching. Finger chopsticks. I think you could technically hold them a little higher up, but I don't have as much control with them, so I tend to hold them right here. And I love Cheetos, but I do not love Cheeto dust. And I also love eating Cheetos and chips and everything else while I'm working on projects, and I'm awful and so to not ruin my projects, I have started using those. A hack I found at StitchCon. I'll have to put that up there later. Badge reel, scissors. I have probably 8 of these at the house. The only problem is that sometimes they do that, and so maybe not putting your sharpest scissors on there, and or not your longest scissors, or you're going to stab yourself in the boob. But as someone who loses their scissors about 12 times every time I'm working on something, and I've tried keeping them over here on my needle minder wall, but then they get knocked off, and then I get cranky. So, and that was a genius hack that I saw somebody using at StitchCon and proceeded to steal. I'm like, I like that idea. We are taking that. So, job hunting and stitching, that's pretty much where I'm at with this one. Showed you all my needle minders, or a large assortment of my needle minders. I think that's really everything. I also got this at StitchCon. It has been my favorite thing in the world. I love that koozie. I used to have a ton of koozies, and then I stopped having them, and typically we drink our sodas room temperature, but in the summer, there's no way I'm drinking room temperature anything. Especially after like the last week where we had an absolute, like last week or week before, this absolutely abysmal heat wave. And so it was awful. The ACs couldn't even keep up. The ACs kept it slightly less horrible, but that's about the best it did. So yeah, have the Halloween box coming. Might have a second Halloween box coming. I'm not entirely sure. The only other one that I'm really looking at is the 12 Days of Resistance, which is a Star Wars box by Forbidden Fiber Company. And I am an absolute sucker for all things Star Wars. So I'm currently toying with that one, but being that I'm on unemployment, I should probably not spend all of my money on cross-stitch boxes. And I keep trying to tell myself that, which is why I allowed myself the one box from Live and Die LA, because their Halloween boxes are absolutely insane. They put so much thought and so much effort into them. They really go all out, and they really get it for people who are like me, that view Halloween as a lifestyle and not so much a holiday. I am typically known for saying things like, oh look, they put the home decor out again, because I will literally shop for home decor during Halloween. Like, it's my favorite thing to do. Can I completely replace this light fixture with some Halloween tape thing? Yep, done. So that is that. I am, like I said, hoping to get back onto a fairly regular shooting schedule, which will be every Saturday, mostly just because that's when my partner works. He goes in at 1:30 on Saturday, and so the house is quiet, because I film in my living room and on my couch. I've got a little backdrop hanging up behind me to cover my window so that it is not as blinding, but you can still see ridiculous sunlight peeking through. But I film in my living room, and so if he's here and he's, playing video games or doing whatever, it's harder for you to hear just me. So I typically want to try and film when he is not here. Not because he would not have fun things to add to this whole thing, but because it's just a little easier. He's notorious for telling me that I should not be buying more cross-stitch stuff, and I'm like, it still fits in one box. Stop calling our house a box. I've been doing this with books too. You can't buy any more books. We don't have room for any more books. Hey, they still all fit in one box. Our house is not a box, Robin. I mean, it's box shaped. Would I eventually love to get like my own little craft room and film from there? Yeah, sure, absolutely. But that's just not an option with the amount of rooms that we have in our house, our apartment right now. So that is that. And I'm trying to think if there are any other major updates. Now that I have found my Kindle and have my pattern keeper back again, I might upload my Tiki Time pattern that I got from Ink Circles and start working on that again. Because the problem that I had with that one was that I was trying to work on the Tiki Time one and mark it off in like a PDF marker, and it was not working. It like closed my tab and erased everything, and I cried a lot. I'm a little sad that I'm not doing the D&D Sal from Taylor and Cromwell, just because I love D&D. I play D&D two times a week. 3 different games, but 2 times a week. We have 2 different games that happen on Tuesdays, so they go off every other week. Gives the DMs a little longer to prep and plan. But yeah, so I have 3 different games, 2 times a week. I have source books that for D&D adjacent games, like Coyote and Crow, stuff like that, that I've been thinking about running, but I don't know if I really want to be the GM. But so I'm kind of sad that I'm not doing the D&D Sal as it comes. But I don't think that I ever do any Sal as it comes. I try very hard to keep up with things, and I can never get there. Because I can't stay on one project for nearly long enough. It just does not work, unfortunately. The only other, I'm looking at the Haunted Library Sal. Again, not going to stitch it as along as we go, or I'll be perpetually behind. And I'm also looking at the... Alright, there was a brief interlude there. I was talking about Sals that I'm looking at, and I'm trying to remember. I know I talked about looking at the Haunted Labyrinth. I still have to get the Modern Folk Embroidery one, even though we're out of June. The heck was the other Sal I was looking at? I don't remember. I know I'm looking at the Haunted Mansion, and I'm looking at the Supernaturals, and I'm looking at the D&D Sal. I got a phone call, and I took the phone call, and apparently I was on the phone call too long, and it ended the video. So we're picking back up where we left off and praying that I can piece these two together. All in all, it has been a fun month and a half since my last video. And I think that that is everything. I've shown you shopping, I've shown you works in progress, I've shown you what's probably next up on the block. We've talked about Pattern Keeper, we've talked about pretty much all of that. We talked about the snack finger guys that I found that are super helpful. Yeah, I really think that is everything that I have. So until next time, which should hopefully be next week, Happy stitching, and may the frog never find you.